of Larry Raw art. Been doing visual art professionally for about 3 years now, but I've always been an artist. Always been into drawing, painting, just everything that like encompasses art. I'm that that energetic, that weird kid. I'm that guy.
Okay. And remind us, where are you located?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay, okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the art scene out there and if it has influenced you at all?
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, anybody that's ever been to New Orleans, man, knows that New Orleans is just like it's an artist city, if that makes sense.
Okay.
There's graffiti everywhere. There's a lot of performance arts. There's festivals year round up until about this time of year. The only time they don't have festivals in New Orleans is November and December. January and then February is just a year-round festival. Every month you have something to do. So culinary art, performance art, visual art, performance art, like the people that music and all of that. Yeah, anybody's ever been here knows like this is definitely where artists thrive.
Okay. All right. That sounds
Absolutely.
really cool. So, can you tell me your particular style of art and what you like to focus in on?
Um, I would say that my style is more I just like to do like black art. I like to focus on black people. I like to focus on the big features. I like to add complementary colors because I think that they really work really good together. Kind of gives you that kind of contrast.
Yeah.
And I like to do conscious art, if that makes sense. Like I don't want my art to just be something that's just beautiful. Like you can look at it and say, "Oh, that's nice, that's pretty," and just go about your way. I always want to put something in there that'll make you stop and think, like and have a conversation. Like if I ever was to be like a gallery, people would stop my piece and have the conversation and move on to the next piece instead of just saying, "Oh, that's beautiful," and then just riding on by. So.
Okay, that's super dope. So, can you tell me a little bit more about the journey to becoming a pro black artist?
It's I guess it all comes from what I believe art is. And art isn't just something that's to look at or listen to, it's something to document the times.
Hmm.
You think about, like, we're going into November, so we think about the whole Christopher Columbus story and what we heard about it. We grew up in this thing, knowing that Christopher Columbus, the Pilgrims came down here, Thanksgiving there in America became. But because of the artists of that time period, you have sculptures, you have clothing, you have folklore, like storytelling. So you have those things that kind of go against what the people that write history write. So that's really what it's about for me is just because I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of conversing with people, and we really get into it. But you know, it's always about documenting the times that we're in right now so that if history ever does change, you have the statues, you have the clothes, you have the folklore, you have the music. The music of the time, so that I'm like, can I curse here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have like a song like Fuck the Police. And it's like people today might feel some type of way about it, but in that time period, like that's what it was like. Like it was
Right.
rioting, it was like the attitude of the streets was fuck the police. So regardless of what they want to, the police can completely clean their act up. They can completely like be fair to everybody. In 20 years, and everybody will be like, man, the police are good people. But then you go back and listen to that song, and you're like, man, maybe they weren't so good at one point. That's what art is to
Right.
me. Art is all about documenting the times, and that's what I try to do.
Okay. Now you said, touching on that point, the art of the times really helps to put out a message and that relays that. So what do you feel your art, your pro-black art, what's the message that you essentially are trying to get out?
I just want I'm not gonna say I focus on a singular message. I just focus on the message of like consciousness if that makes sense. I want people to not just focus on, all right, look, I'm gonna say it like this. You listen to rap music, hip hop, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you have songs like let me see. You have songs like Nature of the Threat. You ever heard that by Razzcast?
I don't think I have.
Okay. That's a really powerful song. It is really conscious. It's heavy though. and
Okay.
it's not easy to listen to, but it's really conscious. You know, I love that song though. And then you have a song like More Money, More Problems. You know that song?
Yes.
All right. That's a very pop song. It's a pretty song. It makes you want to dance. It's fun. You play it at a party. They're at opposite ends of the spectrum. And then in the middle, you have a song like "If I Rule the World," like by Nas. You know, you know that song.
Yes.
It's a pretty song, man. That song "My Rails Can" is so hard, bro. You got it. It's hard. If you haven't listened to it, please get into it. But I would just respond to that. But "If I Rule the World" is a very pretty song. It's popular. It got Lauryn Hill on the hook. It's a very good song, but it's also very conscious. You listen to those lyrics, you're like, man, he really hitting hard with those bars. And that's what I'm trying to get across is like, I want my art to not only be pretty, you know, so you look at it and you're like, oh, that's pretty, let me repost this. And I don't want it to be so grimy and so rich in consciousness that only a small percentage of people see it. I want it to be like that mix in the middle, so you see it and you think about it, and it hits something in you that makes you want to it compels you to go search further into whatever it was that you saw, whatever it was that made you feel that way.
Okay. Okay. Now, creating this type of conscious art, have you received any, or rather, what has the reviews kind of been like, or the feedback that, lookers have said to you? I mean, do you ever get any negative feedback?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm gonna talk about that because it's funny. But um, most of the feedback is from people that are conscious themselves, so it's
Mm,
positive. It's like it's all love. It's like it'll be where I might post something, or I might put something out there. I might be at like a festival or something showing off, and the people that do stop and the people that do purchase, like we sit there and have like a 3 to 5 minute conversation every time. Like, man, da, 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 da. And that's awesome. That's what it's about to me. It's about that conversation. It's about pushing that forward. But man, I think it was last year, or maybe it was 2018. I did this really controversial piece that like a lot of people took like and saw Elijah Muhammad in like a very it was a derogatory way how they looked at the piece. Boy, I got
okay.
in trouble with the Muslims. I got in trouble, bro. I mean,
Uh-oh.
like it was. I had to take the post down.
Really?
It was going so hard. But if you was to go on Facebook in the Black Artists Connected post, I mean, you could definitely find that post, and it's like it's a 700 post, like a 700 comment thread on Facebook. Now I kept that one up because it was like peaceful. The moderators did a good job. They kept everything on point. But still, in that, you have a lot of people that was upset. But on Instagram, they had me had it. I was getting phone calls and everything. It was serious. Had to take it down, bro.
What did you put on the canvas that was so derogatory
I don't think it was derogatory. I just think it was
or
like showing.
perceivably?
Yeah, I just think it was the power dynamic that was being showed within the Nation of Islam at the time. I don't think I might still have the picture of on my page. I might not though, but it was serious. Like the response was like there was a lot of conscious people that was like, man, that's how it was. But then it was like it was bad, man. Actually, let me see. I don't know. I'm on my iPad right now. I don't know if I can go on my phone and pull it up and show it to y'all, but go to my page, man. Go to L Ra 504 and just scroll down. You'll see the piece. You won't be able to miss it. It has a depiction of um, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Louis Farrakhan. You just can't miss it. But it got me in a lot of trouble. Like when I originally posted it, I took it down and I reposted it like in a different way. It was the same picture, but when I originally posted that picture, bro, the people that was on Facebook followed me to Instagram just to cause a ruckus. I mean, they had what they did. They had put Brother Bennett and everything. I was getting into a Brother Ben.
Oh my goodness.
So
Now,
that
how do you
was
deal with that? How do you deal with that kind of resistance or like that amount of people coming for you over your
you,
art?
you just learn from it. I mean, it's a learning thing. It's like if I just I felt like because I never looked at Elijah Muhammad or any of those guys in a bad light. I give them all due respect. But for me personally, I don't feel like any man is above criticism. I believe that even Malcolm X, now y'all see Malcolm in the bag back there, man. I love Malcolm X, but still, in a room between like a bunch of black people sitting there, you know, running it, I can criticize Malcolm. I wouldn't criticize him in public, but I got some critiques of him. So, in the same way, I can critique Elijah Muhammad in the way he handled this situation, but I would never tear him down because you ask me personally, like the Nation of Islam is the only black organization that really had it right. Really had it right. They might not have handled everything right, but their thought going into it of building up the black man first and then everything flowed through it, that was the right way to go about it.
Now, did you do your own studies, or were you raised in a household where that was impressed upon you, or where did you come across that knowledge?
No, man, I was raised Baptist just like everybody else in America, man. Everybody black at least, man. We all raised some kind of denomination of Christianity, but it's like once I grew up, I always had questions. I always had questions, and once I grew up and I got outside the house, I started getting my own books, started running into conscious individuals, and they put me on game. But then, I mean, it's I guess you go through phases of consciousness when you want to know something else so bad, you just follow the crowd that's going that way. And then you get to another phase where you start questioning even that crowd. And then you start reading against them, you start cross-referencing, you start running into those same brothers and being like, hey, brother, I know you said this last time, but I got something in this book that said different. You start running it. So eventually you become this individual that has your own kind of, I guess, religion. So that's where it all started and came through for me is I wasn't raised that way, but I was always influenced to like, you know, look outside. Just being who I am, I've always been a questioner. I've never been a person that just blindly followed anything.
Okay. Now, do you feel like those experiences have maybe altered the way that you conduct your art or produce your art at all?
Oh, absolutely. That's the reason in the first place that I look into trying to be as conscious as possible because, like, just thinking about my mother. My mother used to always keep these Egyptian like figurines and big African statues in the house. And like I said, we was raised. Oh, absolutely. I read Malcolm's autobiography. I thought it was amazing, man. I think that the Spike Lee movie was really on point with what went on in the autobiography. But the autobiography was it was more felt because you kind of like, if you know Malcolm and you watch Malcolm's interviews, you can literally read in the book and hear his voice talking to you during the parts where it's like, it's nothing like reading, Malcolm just, to me, man, like I said, Malcolm is probably the greatest human being ever existed. I love Malcolm X. But get back to the question. I was raised Christian, Baptist. I went to church with my mother, all of that. But my mother always had Egyptian stuff in the house and all these big African heads. And with me seeing that all the time, it made me think about what that was. So once I got into my studies, when I saw them, I didn't walk into that with a spirit of fear. I went into it with because there's a lot of us you know, black people that we look into like pro-black things, the dress, the way they dress, the makeup, the way they wear their hair throughout African history, and we're afraid of it. You know, even our religion tells us to be afraid of it. Christianity tells you to be, you know, to not go into these things and be afraid of these. So you're afraid of those things. But since I saw these same things, so when I saw Egyptian statues and the Olmec heads and all of these things, I wasn't approaching it in the spirit of fear. I wasn't afraid of it. I was approaching it with a spirit of curiosity. I had seen it before. So to follow that up with how I want my art to do the same thing. Like somebody might see a nice picture of Malcolm X and be like, who is that? And it compels them to go and look forward. So when they do go watch a Malcolm X interview, where they come into understanding that there's a Malcolm X movie, they don't go into it with a fear. They go into it with a genuine curiosity. And that's what it's all about. It's compelling them to be curious. Once they're curious enough to go look into it themselves, I've done my job.
I want to touch on something before we go a little too far, but I wanted to touch on what do you think is the biggest misconception when it comes to, you know, those figurines and things and those figures in Egyptian history? What do you think is the biggest misconception that people hold in their mind that might not serve to be true?
I think the timeline is so warped in our head that we don't understand that Egyptian culture came first. I think that's the misconception, because if you don't believe, or if you don't know, there's people that are Christians that believe Christianity came first, and Christianity is actually a very young religion. So the misconception comes in. It's like, if I know you and I know your parents and I know your grandparent, it's like, if I believe your mother or your grandparent came after you, they wouldn't have authority over you, or I wouldn't feel like they were authoritative people. In the same way with the religion. If there was a religion before Christianity, there's definitely a reason to look into it, especially if you know that Christianity took things from that religion, changed some names, changed some dates, and it became something different. So I just don't think enough people understand that we as Black people had religions and cultures before Western influence. I think if more of us knew that and embraced that, we would be more open to look at Egyptian, Egypt, and cultures that came before them even, and allow them to have authority in how we look at religion, and not just look at them and try to brush them off like, oh, well, that's not important. Oh, well, this is the only thing that's important. The idea that you can look at one book and take your whole philosophy, your whole morality from it, is crazy once you start reading other books and see how much things have in common. You start cross-referencing, you start seeing where things came from. And Egypt was the first big civilization on the same level as Rome in America and stuff like that. There were other of course, cultures and civilizations like Samaria and things like that before in Nubia, but they were not on the scale of Egypt. Egypt was the first one on that level. Egypt gave Rome the blueprint of how to be Rome.
Do you have a particular print? I remember seeing something on your page and you had a really nice, I think it was solar eclipse or something. Do you happen to have that one on you?
I have the painting. I can get it for you real quick. I don't have
Yeah,
a
we
print
would
of
love to see it.
I'm out of prints, but let me go get the painting for you real quick.
Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to particularly, see this one and show you guys, yo, check out his art. This is super, super dope. The detail, it almost looks like very scenic, like there's a story going on, and so I totally understand that you would want to influence people to think, have think pieces on these masterpieces.
Y'all see it?
Yes.
All right.
All right. So can you kind of break it down for us and, what it means and what message you're trying to get out with this one?
Okay, so I really don't. I'm gonna do my best to say what I was trying to say in it, but at the same time, I don't feel it's an artist's role to tell you exactly what to see. I don't know if that makes sense. I can write, there's artists that write really, really good songs, and what makes the song so good is you can hear the song and hear different things.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's a good enough song, you can hear a song and I can hear the same song sitting right next to you, and we could talk about it, and I could be so. But the whole thing about this is just the idea that if we were to believe in God, if God is a real thing, if God is a real concept, then what if the God that we're worshiping is the wrong God? And what if there are other gods that came before that God looking at us worshiping them what are they doing? So the idea, you got Horus over here shrugging his shoulders, Osiris is asking what are they doing? And you got Isis over there just crying because she's upset. The fact that the original people are worshiping something that's not intended for them.
Mm.
They're building statues. It's the idea of a biblical tale about what was it, the golden boar, the golden calf. They were worshiping. So it's like God looking down on the people worshiping the golden calf, like, why are y'all worshiping that or whatever? And it's that same idea in here or whatever. You got the statue of the Pope there, and they're like, man, why are they worshiping that? Like, you know, this is what's at over here. We've been doing this for them all this time. And then you got the solar system where like the sun sitting up there, being where, and the reason it's called solar eclipse is because, you know, the people that do worship, you know, like in this paint of the depiction of the Pope, they worship this and then they're blinded by it. Like it's completely blocking the sun. And the sun is the important part. So it's solar eclipse being where, you know, you got people, I mean, you can't see it from there. But if you look close enough to the paint, you can see there's people underneath this shadow. Being where there's an eclipse. It's just blocking out the sun just enough that y'all can't see the sun. All you can see is the statue. All you can see is the depiction of the Pope statue. You can't see what's really important, which is the sun. And the sun is, to me, important. I mean, that's the thing that sustains our life. If it wasn't for the sun, well, none of us be here. I mean, if the Pope didn't exist, like Christianity does, there were people that existed before Christianity. There was nobody that existed before the sun. So.
All right. What got you into choosing those particular individuals on your right side?
These three?
Yes.
Oh, that's because that to me that's you know talking about Christianity. There's always this thing talking about the Holy Trinity. That's the original Holy Trinity. You know, before
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
What is it?
I was looking at it and I'm thinking that was kind of might have been where you were going with it, but just to hear you verify it, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, man, because you know, in Christianity you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, but there's no woman involved. You know, you know, and anybody, you know, we should all take issue with that. We should all take issue with that, man. But like I said, that's that Roman stuff. You know how the Romans got down. You know, it wasn't really found of women like that. You know, that's another subject. But you know, the original Holy Trinity was the Father, the Mother, and the Son. You know, so in the Egyptian, you know, mythology or whatever, you got the Father, the Mother, and the Son. The Son and the Son. See how it goes in your head or whatever. You know, that was their son, but he was gonna rock the sun over his head. He was, you know, and all of the pharaohs took a part of his name into their name, like their actual proper name in Egypt included his name in their name. So they were like saying they were the popes of their time. They were saying that I am the human messenger, the human depiction of Horus, or in that time Heru. So yeah, that's what that's the original Holy Trinity. And I thought that was appropriate when you talk about Christianity and where I was going with it or whatever to include the original Holy Trinity.
Okay. Yeah, that one, I mean, amongst all the other pieces, this one definitely caught my eye. I love a lot of the different elements about it. It's super dope. And I knew it had depth. Like I just knew. So I definitely wanted to personally touch on that one. Can you go into, thank you. Can you go into how you would define or what influenced your decision to go conscious art as opposed to commercial art?
Okay. I think again, just to rewind real quick, it's that same idea where it comes to, because I don't believe that art period is one thing. I believe that art is a global thing, and in every place is two ranges of it. Like even if we go to like, you know, dancing, like there's people that do tribal interpretive dance that's supposed to make you feel a certain type of way, and there's people that just like do like the Soldier Boy dance. You know what I'm saying? That's a commercial dance. It's like, you know, it's fun, but it doesn't have any, you know, meat behind it. But you look at like, you know, going back to the music, I want to touch on it again. You got Nature the Threat over here. You got More Money More Problems over here. They're both art. Don't take nothing away from them. They're both art. Absolutely. I'm not one of these artists that says that it's not art because I don't like it. I acknowledge them both being art. But it's like over here, it's like being vegan. It's like all you can eat is like salads and vegetables, and it's just not, you know, delicious. Then over here you got soul food where it's pig leg and ham hock and all this stuff, and it's really bad for you, but it's delicious. In the middle, you got something like, keto diets, pescatarianism. You got all kind of diets in the middle that are trying to mix up the idea of I want to be healthy, but I also want to taste my food and I want to be good. And that's what it's all about. Being a conscious artist to me is making sure that every piece that I do, and trust me, I do if y'all was to look at my page, I do commissions. So my commissions are just whatever the supporter wants. We have a consultation and we try to work with colors and themes, and I give them what they want. But if it's from my private collection, it's because I want you to look at that piece and not just see it's beautiful. But I also don't want you to look at that piece and be like, damn, that's too harsh, man. I mean, why are these people over getting their heads cut off? I want you to look at it and be like, man, that's beautiful, but man, look at that over there in the corner. Like looking at Black Malcolm or whatever, like this is a piece called Black Malcolm. You look at Black Malcolm, it's a good piece or whatever. Like, I think it's one of my best pieces, but it's not just about Malcolm X, who's a great man. But you look at the words in the back, there is really, really, thought out like messages that came from Malcolm X I wrote on there, like almost like graffiti, like in the background. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, like I said, you probably can't see it on the screen, but if you were looking at my page, you could just blow it up. You got Malcolm X with a spray can behind his back. So it's like, it's not just, me doing the art. I wouldn't even have the ability to do this if it wasn't for Malcolm. So Malcolm is helping me. Malcolm is the artist. I'm just the medium. Malcolm is the artist. I'm a paintbrush. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that about oration, like the idea of getting in front of an audience of people and getting them to move, getting them to mobilize. That is an art to me. That's an art. Not everybody can do that, but in the same way that you can look at a rapper that can get in front of an audience and like get them to move, get them to mobilize, get them to dance around. Malcolm get in front of an audience and get them to go home and think about what they're doing. Maybe go out there and mobilize as well. Go out there and march in the street. Go out, stuff like that. So to me, that same gift of being an orator is an art form as well. So that's why, like, in this piece as well as the one I have for brother Khalid Muhammad, I got them in the corner, with the spray can, working on their own graffiti wall. Because to me, I mean, they were artists of their own time as well.
Okay. There was a quote I had seen on your page speaking to mediums, and you said, just as the paint, and I'm sorry if I butcher it, but it was like something as to the paintbrush to the canvas or I'm sorry, it was something about the mediums and how you're a medium as well. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, absolutely. Just what I was talking about just now, I feel like, when you look at, it's like this isn't like to be, I guess, to have the gift of being an artist any kind of way. Like I said, there's people that dance, they're artists. There's people that sing, they're artists. There's people that play instruments, they're artists. But it's like when you stop looking at yourself as an artist and start looking at yourself as a medium, it just becomes more serious. Your responsibility becomes more. The idea of it's like, let's go back to the idea of God. If there's a God and there's a message that's supposed to be getting put out into the world, and I'm the person that's supposed to put that message out there, it's not about me. It's about the message. So it's like the same way that when you're doing art or whatever, you're trying to do art, but you're not thinking about the significance of the paint. You're not thinking about the significance of the paintbrush and the canvas. You're thinking about the idea you put out there. So in that same sense, I'm that same paintbrush. I'm that paint. I'm that canvas. I'm the medium that's getting it out to the world. I'm just delivering the message. The message came before me. Anything that I ever put out before y'all came before me. The books I read that taught me about Egypt were written before me. The speeches Malcolm X spoke of and influenced me came before me. So it's not about me per se. It's about me just getting y'all to get back to the root, get back to the source. I'm just a messenger. I'm the medium. When you want to speak to your dead grandma, you go to somebody holding a crystal ball, and they're called the medium. They're the thing that sits in the middle between you and your dead grandma. And I feel like as an artist, you are that same medium. You're that person in the middle that's translating from the elders to the new generation, you know, that same message, that same source of knowledge. Absolutely.
All right, all right. Now you speak to getting out this message and, essentially sharing this message with a lot of people and getting that exposure out there. Can you speak to and elaborate on why you think it's more important to focus on exposure and infrastructure of your art as opposed to the profits you can make from it?
Absolutely, because I feel like not just art with anything else, anything that you go into business for, once your business is correct, the profits will come. You never want to be in a position that you are talented as hell and you get your break. Like you post a picture and then Shaquille O'Neal repost your shit. And it's like, damn, not everybody coming to your site. Or if you have a site, you might not have a site. So what you gonna do now? You know, you lose out on the opportunity. You know, you might get 15 minutes of fame. You might go on some Shaq might have you do something, or he might have you do a piece for him, and then like you get posted on his page. But how do you roll that into more income, residual income for yourself? So that's why it's all about the infrastructure, is because if people, like if I post this picture right here, the one that you said you liked, I post that painting, you like it, you're a celebrity, you repost it on your page, and now everybody's coming to me like, how can I get a print? How can I do this or whatever? You go on my website and just order it, and then they'll come right to my email, and I get it done, and I have it on to you. So it just eliminates a lot when you spend that time and you build on your infrastructure. You get your website together. You think about, like, you know, in this interview, you're asking me questions from an interviewer's perspective, but then you ask me from a customer's perspective, be different questions. I have those questions in my head, so I won't lose out on the sale. Because, you know, even in this era, man, people just don't have a large attention span. So it's like they'll like you. They might look at your art and they might really want to buy it. And then, you know, they can't get it in that 5 minute span. You lost the customer. You lost money. And they can get it in 5 minutes. So having your infrastructure ready for when that break comes. So if you're talented enough, it will come. I really do believe that. I believe that there's been a lot of people that's been talented and they get opportunities to get big and blow up. But when that opportunity comes, they don't have their legal paper right for their business. They don't have a website. They don't have, you know, answers ready for the customer, and they just lose out. And they might never get that chance again. They might be one of these people that's 80-something years old, like, man, you know, Shaq had one of my paintings at one time, and you be like, Shaq had one of your paintings. You know, that reality is separate. That reality is of a person that wasn't prepared. The person that was prepared, they'd have a big mansion, all kind of businesses and all this stuff. And when they told that to their grandkids would believe it without even seeing it. You know, that's preparation. I don't believe in luck. I just believe in when preparation meets opportunity. You got to be prepared for that opportunity. And when it comes, you got to be ready for it. Got to be ready. If you're not ready, then you lose it.
Now, I like that you touched on the importance of like having a permit. Have you
Yeah.
experienced something where you like got ready to set up a show and then realized, uh-oh, I might not be fully prepared?
Hilarious, man. That was my first lesson right there, man. I mean, that was like 2 years ago. I went to I had a business meeting. I was talking to somebody, and I had a bunch of art in my car, and I was like, I'm about to go out. There's this place in downtown New Orleans called the French Market. I'm like, man, I'm about to go post up in the French Market and go sell my art or whatever. And he was like, man, you can't go out there without a permit. A permit. And then it was like, so then he put me on game. So then I went, but I still went out to the French Market because I'm the type of person that once I make my mind to do something, I'm gonna do it. I might not follow all the way through with it, but let's say I might say I'm going to watch a comedy show in this area at a certain part of the day. They cancel the comedy show. I'm still going out there. That's just me. I'm still going out there. I feel like if I was going out there and they canceled, I'm still supposed to be out there. Something will happen for me out there. So I went out there and I met an artist. Reggie Art, man. Still a brother of mine to this day. We go back and forth, but it's all love because he's conscious as well. But Reggie Art, he put me on the permit game. He told me what I would need to do this and all of this stuff. And then there were other local artists that I ran into at the time. And every time I run into a local artist, even if it's not a local artist, if it's an artist online, I meet you, you're an artist. If we have a good conversation and I learn something from it or whatever, I'm going to buy something from you. I'm going to support you. I'm going to let you know, look, I appreciate that conversation we had, man. I really do. And with the information he gave me, the information my business partner gave me and what the local artist gave me, within like the next month, because it takes time, to get your permits, get your license and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And within a month or whatever, I was out on the street doing the same thing. So it's like it was a learning process. It was fun, but it's like it was a difference between me going out there and just getting arrested or getting fined for selling art on the corner, and actually being prepared to legally do that, have my permits, have everything I need to do it. Because I can go out there and make $500 on the corner probably, but I mean that fine might be more than that. Because there's other people that have paid for their permits, and I mean, you got to get in the game.
And you said you were back out over there on the street selling art within a matter of a month. So how long? What was the process like to get those permits and things like that to allow you to legally sell art?
Man, you gotta just gotta go get your a tax ID number, and that takes like maybe 2 weeks or so. And then once you get the tax ID number, you gotta register for to actually be able to pay like your taxes and all that stuff. And then you also have like you gotta go to the city hall or wherever you live, and you gotta get the permit for you to be able to sell art at any venue that you see major artists in the city standing by, whatever, is named. That's what you gotta understand. These are named places and venues, even if they look like they're standing on the corner, but they're not. That corner has a name, and there's a certain amount of money you have to pay per year to be able to post up on that corner and work. So learning all of that stuff took me about a month, between maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 entities, to get all of my stuff correctly. Get my permits, get my license, get my tax numbers, get everything proper and legal to be able to post up out there and not get fined or arrested for selling art out there in a place where other people have paid to do it.
Got it. Okay. Back to the art though. Now, when you are posting up these large pieces, excuse me, do you also have a bunch of prints? And if so, why do you think it's important to have those prints ready?
Man, I do have prints. I don't always have prints on hand, but I know where to get. I can get prints within a week, anytime that I need to get them. Anytime I'm going to a festival or any kind of like event, I'm going to have prints on hand, because there's a lot of people that come to these events and they're not coming to buy art. They're just coming to browse. And so they might see a piece like this or whatever that might be way out of their price range for what they want to pay. Even if they want to pay it, nobody walks around with that kind of money in their pocket on a regular day.
Right.
So it's like, there's been times where somebody's come to me and they're like, I like this print or whatever. Do you still have the original? And then I'll get into business with them, and they'll get the original too. But sometimes people just buy the print. To me, you should always have prints with you, because prints are always an opportunity. In the same sense that like a business card is this little thing that a lot of people will take a business card and just, oh, here's my business card, and they'll put it in a package, shake your hand, and go in the car, and it'll never come out of the car. It'll go in the trash can somewhere. But a print is like something they're going to pay a little nominal fee, maybe $15, $20 for, and then you put all your information on the back. So it's a big business card, and they're going to frame it in their house, and then their friends come by like, oh, I like that right there. Where'd you get that from? And then they go on the back of the thing, and it's like, okay, well, this is Instagram, this website, this phone number, this email address, bang, bow. So never, ever, people think about like the idea of a print, because you don't make a big profit margin on a print. Like a print might cost you anywhere between $10 to $15 to make. You probably only make like $20, $25, so maybe that's $10 off of a print or less, because maybe you have to ship it, and that costs money. Mm-hmm. But if I could sell prints, if I could get nothing for a print, I would do it. Just for the fact, I mean, not nothing I should say. If I could sell a print for what I pay for it, like if I buy a print for $6, if I could sell it for $6, I would. Just for the fact that this person now is carrying around my business with them. So it's an opportunity to advertise for really, you get a small profit on it, but even if I didn't get a profit on prints, I still do prints.
Okay, got you. What was my next question? I mean, as we were speaking to prints, oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I just totally lost that. But how do you balance essentially all the time that it takes to create the art and still, attend to your adult responsibilities, you know what I'm saying, and all that good stuff?
Man, that's something I still haven't mastered yet. I think that in the same sense that you, I mean, this is going to be a long answer, but you know, how old are you?
26.
You're 26, so you're young. And I'm young as well, I feel. I'm a little bit older, than you, but I'm young. But when we're young and we're hustling, all we're worried about is money. Money is the big thing. Money, money, money. So you eventually learn how to budget your money, and that pushes you forward, right? In the same sense that once you get a little bit older, you get a little bit of money, and you don't have to worry about, small things. Time becomes important like that. So it's like I'm working on time budgeting right now. In the same way that okay, well, every month I need to spend this much on groceries, this much on eating out, this much on my light bill, my internet. I'm trying to get myself in a very disciplined way to understand, like, per day, I need to spend this much time practicing art, this much time promoting and advertising, this much time with my kid, this much time with my woman. It's like understanding how to do that is something that I've never been taught, and I'm learning how to do it now that I have so much things to do. Normally, the problem we have is we have a lot of things to do, and we just don't have the money. So the money is what limits us on what we can do. But now it's like I have the money, I don't have the time. So I'm still learning how to like time budget and learning how to make sure I have enough time for everything. It's very easy to, if you're not disciplined, fall into a binge watching a TV show and watch a whole season of something instead of, doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it's difficult. It's difficult to do something that you want to do and not something you have to do. Having a job is, and trust me, I have a job. So I'm not saying that to take nothing away from it. But having a job really kind of like, it pacifies us in a way. And what I mean by that is it kind of it gives you it makes you have to do something. So you roll out of bed at 7 o'clock and you go and get your coffee and you get into this rotation every single day. But it's like if you had to do that for yourself, you wouldn't do it. If you could make the same money you do at a job doing work for yourself, it would be hard for you to get up out of bed at 7 o'clock. It would be hard for you to get up and, be at this place at a certain time every single day, complete these tasks, and go home at a certain day. It will be hard for you to do because we're not used to holding ourselves to that same level of respect, of authority. We can look a boss or a supervisor, we go up in there with our head down and just handle our business. But when it comes to us, we don't have that same discipline. So learning how to be an entrepreneur in that same way on my days off of work and say, I need to hold myself like I'm my own boss. So if I say I'm gonna get up at 6 o'clock, I need to get out of bed at 6 o'clock. Whatever it takes to get to the next step, get to the next step. Okay, well, I need to be drawing at this time, sit up here and start drawing. And just make something happen. Once you get into that rotation, which I'm still not there, so I'm not the example to follow. But once I get into that rotation, I think that I'll have a lot more progress in my art journey, and I'll be a lot more successful.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of progress in your journey, where do you see yourself taking your art?
Man, I definitely want to continue to push my art out into the world, but I don't ever look to be like, see, I feel like the type of art that I make and the type of person I am, when I see artists, like I don't want to say that. When I see artists that kind of take the spirit of art seriously, I think that I see a kindred spirit in them. I think they're all very, they were black sheep. They're very weird. They're very different. They're forward thinking. They see things before a lot of the world will. And, whether in any kind of art, like I said, even in the culinary arts, there's people that push boundaries on culinary art, and you're like, wow, I never thought that could happen. There's people that, do things with their music that you're like, man, I didn't even know I would like this type of music, but it hit me like that. So I definitely feel like the type of art that I do, if I can get good enough at it, because I'm still growing as art, I'm still learning my technique, I'm still getting it together. But I think I can take it all the way to the top because I'm that type of artist that's going to always be controversial. I'm always going to be that one that, like, somebody's going to see it and be like, man, this guy's been painting this way and putting these messages out here for the last 10 years. Let's give him some attention now. And when that attention comes, I'm gonna be ready for it. That's my intention. It's almost like a no. I know I'm gonna be there. I know I'm gonna be there, but I gotta put the work in to make sure I'm ready for when it comes. Because I definitely see the day in my head when it comes where it's not where, you know, who's a big artist. It's not where Rick Ross comes and says, "Hey man, I really like your stuff. I want you to do a commission piece for my birthday party." It's when Rick Ross says, "I like that piece you already did out of your head, and I want that piece." And then it blows up. So I see that coming from myself, and with that on my mind, what motivates me the most is just that moment. And I'm preparing myself for it. I'm in my sketchbook, I'm in my iPad, always working because I know that moment is coming. I'm doing commissions. I got a commission I'm working on right now on the Hot Off the Easel. Take it down and put this one up. But I'm always working because I know that day is coming. And I don't know if you have this question coming in the future. But I wanted to touch on, like, you know, I'm not the guy to say this because I'm not like established on that level. But just what I learned so far, like what I would tell like new artists or people that are trying to get into like the business of art, never turn down commissions. There's a lot of artists that say that they don't do commissions. Do not turn down commissions. Take every commission you can. Take it at the value of the materials, even if you have to. If it costs you $50 to buy the canvas, the paint, and all that stuff, do it for $50. Because what that commission will do is it will make you work. It will put you in the same mindset as that you had a supervisor or a boss telling you have a deadline for this. You need to set for yourself, as far as time budgeting goes, set for yourself a real discipline of when to get things done and when to play. When to handle business throughout the day and when to play. You know, make sure that you have that. Because if you don't, you're always going to be behind. So don't ever not take commissions. And if you don't ever look for real money from commissions, until you get to the point where your calendar is just filled up and you have to tell people, I can only do one commission a month. At that point, you can start charging more. At that point, you can start scheduling more realistically. But until that point, take every commission you can, because that commission will teach you how to work for yourself.
Solid gem right there. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So who has been, and if you have anybody, you can shout them out, you know, who has been your biggest source of support, if it's one person or a group of individuals?
Man, of course, my biggest source of support, man, is like I have like maybe 5 people I could think of that when I was just drawing and I was just posting my little measly work, I was so embarrassed of that work. I've since deleted it from my Instagram, but like earlier in my art career, I'm sure that you might be able to see it on Facebook though, but early in my art career, there were people that saw potential in my art and immediately came in and started to buy stuff from me. Like, and that's what gave me the idea of even wanting to do this as a business and started to, like, you know, promote myself. Like I said, I have maybe like I have friends like my friend Jermaine. Jermaine, man, you know, has been my guy since high school or whatever. When I first got into painting, Jermaine bought 2 of my pieces from me. And I mean, I didn't make a lot of money off of it or whatever, but it was just the point that a person that grows up with you is the person that's least likely to support you. And it's because, like, you know, they just feel like, oh, well, if you're doing it, I could do it. They don't feel like, you know, the same way that they feel when they see a stranger doing something and they don't see the work. But like when you got like real friends like my dude Jermaine, like, you know, came through and supported me. My friend Lisa, my friend Shayna. Lisa's probably bought the most. Now she hasn't bought the most, but she probably has bought the most. I think she bought 3 pieces from me so far. And Lisa was buying my art when I was in a sketchbook. So man, you know, shout out to Lisa, man. That's really my partner. And then Shayna bought 2 pieces from me. Both were creative commissions, being where she gave me an idea and allowed me to work it. Like, she didn't give me a picture of her daughter or a picture of, like, you know, her dog. She said she came to me with an idea, and we worked through the idea, what colors would be there and all this stuff. I put it together, shipped it out, and she purchased it. So, and I'm sure that, you know, I'm missing some people, but there's been family too. Like family have been lately, like lately my family has been supporting me a lot, and some of my friends. But I'm talking about 3 years ago, 2017, when I first started to do art and started to make money from it. There were people that I will never forget that pushed me into believing in myself, even if that makes sense. Like when people support you, it makes you believe in yourself. It makes you feel like you have worth. When somebody is willing to spend money on something you made with your own hands, with your own mind, it's like there's nothing that feels like that. So definitely, those people I mentioned, and I'm missing some people. They are the reason I do this every single day, and they're the reason. Like when I get to the highest point, man, I'm never gonna stop saying their name, man.
There we go. Shout out to everybody who's been a support to this super dope artist. We appreciate you for motivating our friend here. And I guess to wrap up, some of my last questions include, you know, how can we and people in the audience, how can we best support you in your journey as you continue on?
Oh man, to me personally, like I said, it's not even about like the monetary support, but of course, man, if I want to, you know, get down, www.larryrod.com. It's in my bio, so you know, definitely check that out or whatever to scroll through. If there's something that you know piques your interest, I'll be glad to get it to you. But yeah, man, follow me, and when you see, because all I do is post art or artistic things on my page. I don't post foolishness. You don't see any memes or any drama, any kind of thing, anything controversial. That's just art. If it's art that's controversial, I'm with it. But you know, fall through the comment section sometimes, man. You know, get the conversation going. Repost it on your page, get the conversation going. I'm all about them conversations, man. The biggest thing for me is that we're talking about like issues in our community, issues with each other, getting away from the violence, getting away from just keeping things inside of us and then blowing up. Just we need to start talking more and more. Talking is like talking is gonna heal everything. Us that you know, love is the answer, but you can't get love without communication. So get to communicate. Get to communicate, man. Even in a relationship, man, you can get to the point of liking somebody a whole lot, but when you start communicating, you really start to see yourself in that person, and we can all see ourselves in other people, and we just talk with them and find more of the things we have in common instead of the things that they try to push in front of our face on TV and in these advertisements that separate us. So yeah, man, communicate, talk. That's all I'll ask for the audience is just to continue to communicate, continue to talk. You know, stop, posting only memes. Don't be afraid of the world, man. Don't be afraid of the world. The world loves you. The world is ready to embrace you.
Look at just dropping gems left and right. I know I've learned a lot from this entire interview. I think you're a really dope artist. There's a lot of depth that goes into the art and the artist, you know, and I'm very grateful to have experienced that. I mean, everybody go tap in with your boy, you know, like, comment, repost, buy, all of that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Have those enlightening conversations and stuff. So once again, thank you so much for sharing your art, your story, and yourself with us. I definitely appreciate it. So we will catch you again on Trap Art.
Absolutely. I appreciate you dropping by. Like I said, my first interview. I hope I did y'all some justice. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You do the same.
Thank you.